What's up? Welcome back to another video of old stuff. I'm old, and this is stuff. Where's my boy? He has a fat ass. Driver 2 is a game that I have fond memories of. It's one of the earlier PlayStation games I've ever played. I only remember my dad bringing the first PlayStation 1, like the rounder one. My only experience back then was like a Famiclone.
Brother,
Like one of those bootleg Russian NES consoles with yellow cartridges. It was an interesting experience. Then my dad bought a PlayStation and I was like, what the hell is this? And I had a demo disc back then. And of course, me as a kid, I really enjoyed the X-Men Mutant Academy game. My dad was interested in the Alien game. Alien Resurrection, I believe it was. And every time he would play it, I would leave the room because I was fucking terrified. I was like 10. But there was this one demo that... Oh my god, this box is disintegrating. But there was this one game that both of us were like really into. Well, it's a demo, again, for Driver 2. You only had limited gameplay. You can only run around the city, and you had like the first two cities, and you can like do the chase game mode, where you just chase another car. And it was cool, but after a while, exchanging consoles, getting the console modded, because remember, I live in Romania, and back then, a lot of Slavic countries were very popular with modding and piracy and stuff. It was an interesting time. But yeah, we got a hold of Driver, both of them. My dad finished the first one, but I don't have a lot of memories of Driver 1. I know the tutorial, it was more of a driving test than anything, and 90% of people that played it didn't pass it. Fun fact, I heard there was a store or something. I don't know. I think there was a common thing that I heard, that some stores that sold the game would also often ask the people to bring in their memory card so they can pass the test for them, so they can start playing the fucking game. I mean, nowadays it's not that hard, but like, imagine you're like 12 and you don't know what a slalom is, and the game tells you to do it, and you're like... Well, my dad figured it out somehow. I really need to change this box. Look at it, like Transformers. Anyway, we're not talking about the first one though. Why am I talking about the first Driver? We're not talking about this one. This is good. It's good shit, but we're not talking about this one. Talking about this one. That's in better condition. I have the manual for it, which I don't think you care about, but also have to change the box for this one. But you know, beggars aren't choosers, and I found this was the best option that I could find. Bought it in Denmark. Fun times. Anyway, I'm rambling too much about my past. Played the game, had nostalgia for it and stuff, and it's a cool game. Released in 2000, I believe, and it did GTA first, because the GTA 2 was like released, I believe, at the time. It was the first 3D GTA. Okay, let's go with that. Because this was released in 2000. GTA 3 was released in 2001. So these guys did it first. Had some bullet notes written here, but I'm just rambling now. I don't even look at them. I'm saying that, now I'm looking at them. But why am I bringing Driver? Well, I played it recently. Just beat it like a couple of days ago, before my computer decided that I don't need sound and a computer. For the entire weekend I had to reinstall everything. But anyway, you don't care about that. You care about Driver. We came here for Driver, so I'm gonna talk about Driver 2. We play as Tanner. I'm just gonna call him John Driver. It was developed by Reflections. It was made, I believe, in the same engine as Destruction Derby, if you want to know that one on PlayStation. Actually, aren't they the same guys that did San Francisco as well? Hell yeah, they were, yeah. Okay, I didn't know they were like that old. I know Ubisoft bought them. We're not talking about Ubisoft. I finished this recently because I played this mainly with my dad. And when I'm saying I played it with my dad, it's mostly like we were going back and forth doing turns, but he beat the game. Let's just call it at that. I was like 11, 12, had no idea how to do games like at all. Like my dad back in the day was like beating a lot of games that I have no fucking idea how he did it. I played went back and I played Isolated Warriors for the NES, because I had that on the pirate Russian console doohickey. Motherfucker, I can't even pass level 2, and my dad beat it. Now, It has a secret final boss or final ending if you don't do it without any continuous, but I don't think we did, or did, I can't remember. At this point, I think he did like the whole fucking completionist run, 100%. Whatever, I have no fucking idea what happened to my dad now, because he doesn't really play anything now. Shit, man, he finished this, he finished both drivers, he finished Alien Resurrection, he finished the James Bond game. I have it actually in my collection, like Tomorrow Never Dies, like with the old, I forgot the actor's name. Anyway, we're talking about PlayStation games, like REDriver. Driver, stay on the fucking script. I don't have a script, but you know, subject matter. But yeah, I was bad at games back then. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. But I saw the entire game. I sucked at it, but it was enjoyable to watch. And my dad knew the runs at this point, and honestly, now I know why he wasn't giving me the turns. Because now that I've played it myself, I can say that it's one of those games where you kind of need to learn the road, the pathing. So certain missions work in a certain manner, so it's kind of like trial and error. So having that gap in between by not doing anything just gonna fucks with your like reflexes and everything. And some of the other trauma, I remember harder missions now from my past and playing this. And what was it? I think the first one that really I remembered and I also struggled with. One of the first missions I struggled was the truck mission. You had to chase a truck and there's a silver car behind you, and it's basically impossible, so you kind of have to luck out on that one. So there's like 2, 3, 4 missions, and then there's like one hard one. Anyway, you play the Tanner the John Driver guy. You're looking for this guy called Vasquez.
You know what these marks mean, Jones, do you? Ever hear of Alvaro Vasquez?
Of course.
But you ever see Alvaro Vasquez? You ever see a picture of him?
No.
No, because no one's even seen the guy's driving license. Maybe he don't even exist. Maybe he's just a name. All we know is these marks mean you're one of his.
That's all we know.
You don't see in the entire game, not even in the cutscenes. You actually no, you see him once, and he's like a shadowy figure with like dreads.
Vasquez.
And that's basically it. You're mainly hunting his fat underling. Forgot his name. Like Kenny or something. I really can't remember. And you go through all these hoops undercover, finding some like mafia dudes. There's this guy called Kane.
I'm Solomon Kane. You'll wish you never met me.
Doesn't really look like the friendly type. Honestly, following the story is a bit difficult, even with the cutscenes and basically growing up with the game and now playing it myself. It's still kind of hard to follow the narrative. I don't know what's happening. You kind of get it when they say, okay, they're gonna go to Chicago, and the next mission, oh wait, you're in Chicago. So it's on that end, it's kind of easy to follow, but the entire like overall narrative, it's kind of The story is cool. The ambient is amazing. I remember, I'm gonna go like nostalgia route again. I'm gonna ramble, but I do remember as a kid seeing all these like like you look at them now, and basically the entire city looks like a cardboard cutout map. You don't really have any definition. You can't go inside buildings. But I always thought of the idea of how would it be? What's inside those buildings? It opened this weird open world back when open world games weren't really that popular, especially on PlayStation. Like, you look at the map in Driver and I'm impressed it still runs. My emulator was kind of fucky sometimes and was like running at like 5 FPS, and well, we're talking about an old game where when you lower or higher the FPS, the physics go bonkers. So sometimes the game would just go in slow motion, and I know it's from the console because the music runs well, but the game doesn't. So it's clearly from that. Final mission I had to actually go up from 60 FPS to 75 because the slowdown was so annoying that I couldn't follow the helicopter at the end. Because you need to follow the helicopter. Fuck that mission. I remember so little about this because I remember my dad was struggling, and then I would just get bored and leave. I would just leave him suffer there on his own. Oh god. Well, I went through it now, so I kind of know what he was going into. I don't know what else to say. Actually, I do know what else to say, but it just doesn't come naturally for some reason. Now I know what I want to say. I was doing the GTA references, so you know how in GTA you can like leave your car and just walk around. The first driver, that's why I didn't bring it up, mainly because well, the comparison will make sense because in the first driver you just drive. I don't think the first driver has any. No, I'm pretty sure it doesn't. You can't walk around. But in driver 2, well, check this shit out. Imagine my 12-year-old small brain seeing that. This, because the game doesn't tell you. And keep in mind, we're on the bootleg era, piracy copy stuff. I didn't have the manual for it, because if I look in the manual now, I'm probably gonna find out that yes, if you press triangle and up arrow, you can leave the car. And back then I didn't fucking know that. And some missions were like weird. My dad was like, what the fuck do I need to do now? And then I can remember, I don't know how he figured it out, but one day he was like, hey, check this out. And this happens, and I was like, the game doesn't really give you a lot of options to do that, except for getting out of the car, pressing a button, get back in the car, drive in, and mission over. Or planting bombs. There were like a couple of missions where you need to plant explosives. But other than that, I think free mode is the place where you would just go around. I know there's a what's the word? Driver 2 has 4 maps. It has Chicago, Havana, Vegas, and Rio. So it's a pretty big variety of maps, considering this game is on PlayStation and it's an open world and a big chunker. You go in something like Havana and you see the monuments that actually exist that I found out like fucking a couple of days ago when I was researching this. The demo that I mentioned in the beginning had, like, you have the chase game mode and you can pick Havana. The very first part is a ramp looking thing with like a monument. That struck immediately home when I saw it, because most of my experience with Driver 2 when I had the demo, I played that. For some reason, Havana just looks great in this game, and I don't know, that was nostalgic as fuck when I saw it for the first time, when I played it. The cars are cool. I believe Havana has the oldest selection of cars, whereas you go something like Chicago, you would see more modern cars, more similar to Driver 1, like more sporty muscle cars in the streets, whereas in Havana you see like Andy Anderson's Rambler or something, I don't know.
Take a nice long look at the Rambler. What do you see?
A really big paperweight.
I don't know what models were they taking from this. I actually didn't look into it, but I like that visual aesthetic and I like the world. I want more games in that era. There's something about that vibe and the music. Speaking of music and sounds, can we just appreciate the fact that Rio has the best driving music in the whole fucking game? Still sings in my head to this day, rent-free, and I don't regret it, because this game is fucking awesome. The whole music actually is really cool. It shows that PlayStation was marketed as the same way the PlayStation 2 was marketed as a DVD player. The PlayStation 1 was also a CD player. There was this version that's like for audio files with like all the plugs in the back and everything now it sells for a lot, but a lot of hi-fi people say that it's not really worth it, but a lot of people collect it because it's a cool thing and you can get the same quality for cheap or even better for today's technology. But I'm rambling right now. But the one thing that's distinct, I believe, in Driver 1 and 2, I don't think 3 has. I haven't played 3 like a fucking forever. I know they added bikes, and I know it kind of sucked, but that's all. I don't know anything else about the rest of them. And San Francisco, but that's like a new game. We don't talk about that. We're on the old school club here in the Kaz channel thing. This is old. We're talking about old, not new. Oh my god, these are rough, man. I really need to get new cases. Look at this. And this is a good condition one. Look at this. Yeah, thank you, phone, for like brightening it up and not... Okay, there. This is yucky. Well, I cleaned them up. They're not yucky. They're just cracked. What the fuck is wrong with my phone? Hey, shut that up. Shut that off. What the hell are you doing? There. Phones. New technology doing whatever the fuck they want. Anyway, what was I talking about? Sounds. Oh yeah, sounds. The drifting and the crashing sounds in the game just sound like 60s car chase. And I love it. A fun fact about the car chase, because there's like this huge influence in the game. You can see it actually. Why is it locking onto me? My phone is weird now. That just makes it worse. Okay. Very professional. Anyway, what was I talking about again? Influence. I did some research, and I believe I think the first driver was inspired by movie. Actually, let me just look into it. Sure, I have a browser open. Why the fuck not use it? So, oh, I know how to type today. The 1978 film. That was the main inspiration. Why's my phone bright again? Okay, fuck it. Leave it. I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's a 1978 movie called The Driver. Very original, guys. Infogrames and reflection. That's very original. Sure, it's very descriptive. You are the driver. You're driving in a game called The Driver, inspired by The Driver, the movie. 79% on Metacritic. I should really go and like watch it. It looks interesting. I like the vibe, so might just like it. Playing it now, in like 2024, 5, I emulated it, which is better than doing it on hardware. It's still cool, does the job, but for someone that didn't grow up with it, I wouldn't recommend it. Mainly because it's very clunky. If you're used to clunkiness in old games, sure, go fucking ahead. This is great. It's an amazing experience. The graphics can be a bit of a turn off for a lot of people because it's a 2000 game. It looks kind of like ass. Even if you upscale it, you do the emulation thing, and I put scan lines on mine. I try to make it look as best as possible, but realistically, the PC version looks better. But fuck it. I like these more. Because I had these. I didn't have the PC version. It's a very dated game. If you're very picky about gameplay, graphics, I don't think you're gonna enjoy it. But if you really don't care, if you are used to clunky tank controls, and dude, let me tell you about tank controls. Sometimes when you need to leave the car to press a button, that's worse than driving in this game, because you need to so you move with A the same way you accelerate your car. And I played it on my Xbox. Actually, I'm not. You know how an Xbox One controller looks. Why am I showing it to you? But I played it on my Xbox One controller on PC. It's a PS1 game. Yeah, PC Master Race. There you go. But I played it with that, and I think the Xbox One controller is a bit too sensitive for PS1 games. I should try with a DualShock or something newer. I don't know. I'm just lazy. This is already synced to my computer, so I don't care. It does the job, but it's a bit too sensitive sometimes. You would try to move into a certain place precisely, and you won't. It's clunky. Let's just say it like that. When you drive the car, it's fine. When you leave the car, it's a problem. And also one more thing before I stop this. I think this is the only game that I noticed has a button input for burnouts. You know that circle usually is handbrake. These guys were like living in 3000 or something, I don't know, and they mapped circle on for burnout, so you can leave. You can either clean leave with A, or you can burn out. It works as a 180 button or a drifting button as well. Sometimes a bit too unstable to use, but it's there if you want it. But yeah, Driver on the PlayStation. Do I recommend it nowadays? If you don't mind the graphics and the clunkiness, hell yeah, go for it. Sure. It's honestly, I recommend anything on the PlayStation. It's fun, it's nostalgic. Preferably play it on a CRT or something, because those games sometimes go like they look really rough. I'm gonna show you how I managed to actually no fuck, I don't have the filters anymore. Never mind. I can't show it to you how I managed to make it look. I'm gonna try to. If I end up remaking the filters, I'm gonna show it to you at least to a certain extent. If not, well, I don't know, use your imagination. Or trust me, bro. But anyway, go and play Driver. I think you can find it. I believe there are sites online where you can just play on the browser. You don't need to buy this. It's cool. Have the manual and everything in it. It's fun. It's cool to collect, but I understand people don't really have the space, and to be fair, these cost more than they should. Well, not this one. This one was actually cheap. I just need to change the fucking Transformers box. Even the disc jumped out. Come on, don't try to escape. You're here now. You're here forever. Or at least until the disc survives. Oh, there's the manual. Okay. Anyway, go play driver. And if you want a video on the first one where I can show you my skills on beating the driving test at the beginning, leave a like and let me know, and I'm gonna show you how to do a slalom and 360 and all that. Imagine if a Tony Hawk game had a test where you need to do all the tricks in like 2 minutes, otherwise you are not allowed to play. It's kind of like that with this one. If you want this, not this, if you want a video on this, let me know and I'm gonna do something about it. But until then, this was the video, and I don't know, leave a like and do the YouTuber stuff. Bye.